You know.
Let me get my spray out.
All right, we are live. Hello, guys. What is up? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. The Tarot Magician Renee here. Today we have a very special guest, and we are going to be getting to know Miss Taleah from Taleah's Intuitive Messages.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, hello, hello. Well, so I know I'm coming on at a weird time, so people are probably like, "What?" It's like super early for her. I hardly get on at this time, but I wanted to like switch up my time zones, like my time schedule that I come on, especially during lives or like the get to know people collaborations, just so you have a little bit more extra time and like freedom. You know, does that make sense?
I love this time. I love this time.
Me too. All right. So, Miss Taleah, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little about You see, I'm already scrambling my words. Retrograde. Stop. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, your channel, etc., etc.
Okay. Well, my name is Taleah. Well, obviously, but I started my channel back in last year. I think in June. I've always wanted to help people. Like, always felt energy as an empath. And the funny thing is, the name of my channel came to me in a dream.
Oh, really?
It did. It was either in a dream or like an intuitive message, but I woke up knowing what I wanted to name my channel. Yeah. And then in July, I actually made it a business.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how long have you been reading the cards, and how long have you been doing, your psychic work and things like that?
This is going to be an interesting story. So I think it was in the beginning of 2019. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ocean, Lena.
In the beginning of 2019, my friend at the time, so her cousin, her cousin is friends with a woman who's into Santeria. Well, I'm not into any of that stuff, but she took me to get a reading. And in that reading, the woman told me that you are meant to work in the spiritual world. And that's basically when I started my spiritual journey. And then my friend who took me to that lady is also into fortune cards and everything. She's also very spiritual. And she told me the same thing. So I bought my own tarot deck. But okay, don't judge me, everyone. Don't judge me. So when I got into tarot, it wasn't to learn to read for people. It was to learn to read. It was like I learned the love reading, and I always did readings to myself. And it was the worst mistake that I could ever do, because I always, okay. How do I make this sound without making it sound bad? Okay, so
just tell us.
when I got my first tarot, see the words? When I got my first tarot deck, it was to read to see if my ex would come back. That was the worst mistake ever. So then I started reading for people and learning to read like others' energy months later, when I realized and started going through the healing process that was so unhealthy.
Ooh, I love that. You see, because that's like one of like the most popular question I think I get all the time is my ex coming back? When is my ex coming back? I'm like, I always try to tell people like, I'll tell them like yes or no, they're coming back. But then I always give like the situation, advice, and outcome, just so we can see like, is this even worth it? Is it worth your time, or what's going on with the situation? Like, I try to get more in depth with it. So I love that was the whole reason why you did that in the first place. Because I think a lot of people, that's why they get into it too, just because they're curious. Not only that, but they're curious about like future endeavors as well. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. And it was so unhealthy, because I know like some people get into tarot now, and there's some people are always like asking about the past. I think that from my experience, never stay in the past, move forward, because the past holds you back.
Yeah.
And most likely the same situation will play out again.
Yeah. So do you still read tarot for yourself, or mainly just for other people?
Okay. I don't read tarot for myself anymore, but every day I'll pull a card out for myself, because when I look at the cards, like for myself, the messages are blank.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's very common too. Like, that's why too I do read for myself. However, I do like to get clarification every now and then because sometimes I feel like I need clarification because I'm like, okay, is this just me wanting to hear this or me needing to hear this? So I'll go to someone else like, okay, give me clarification, and they'll normally give me the clarification. I'm like, okay, that's what I got. Like, you know?
Yes, because most of the times I will see what I want to see rather than seeing what I need to see.
Yes. So
Mhm.
speaking of any stories you have as well, do you have any other stories in regards to your practice, or maybe do you have any stories of reading for other people? Like, because I love hearing stories.
Okay, so as a child, um, I would be able to walk into a room
Mhm.
and I would tell my mom, like, why does it feel this way? Why does the energy feel so negative? Why does it feel so cold?
Yeah.
My mom literally told me, "Oh, you have that gift," because she dreamt, like, she has prophetic dreams too, just like me.
Ooh.
Um, she dreamt her friend's murder, so I think she closed herself off from that.
Mhm.
But as a child, I had strong and like empathic gifts.
Mhm.
And also in my aunt's house, like before we all moved in together, her house was full of
Really?
spirits. And the spirits in the house would always attack certain people, but it would never attack my mom, my sister, and I. So until I asked my friend, I drove her by the house like a few years ago, and
Mhm.
she told me it's because of your energy, and they could feel the light.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they would see the words.
It's retrograde, girl. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna be the same way.
And in the house, I think I've always been clairaudient as well because I'd always hear spirits calling my name. I don't know, but like a few years ago too, like recently, a spirit screamed in my ear. I didn't run or anything. I'm just like, who are you?
Like, okay,
Like,
no
yeah,
need to scream. You're like,
they just screamed in my ear. It was like it was a loud. It wasn't. It was a scream to see if I would jump or like run, but like until recent years, I wouldn't get scared.
yeah.
But when it comes to Halloween, like how we were talking about, Renee.
Yes.
Okay, so in my aunt's neighborhood, there was this house that had a bunch of scary, like everyone was dressed like as a child. I remember being so scary. Like all the, it looks so real. Like if like you go to Hollow Scream in Orlando, it looked just like that. And
Yeah.
they'd always have cops there and everything. So
Mhm.
when the people dressed in costumes, I feel like they would come and like point me out, and I would just run behind the cop. I would get so scared.
Well, as a child, yeah, I probably would have been too. Like, what the heck is going on?
No, like it was even until like my teens because I would always get so scared of like Halloween. I can't watch scary movies or things like that.
Yeah.
But like my sister would be fine and like going to things like that. I think it has something to do with my past life because even being around balloons, I can't be around balloons either. I think
Wow.
it has something to do with my past life. That's
Yeah.
why I really want to dream about that because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense as to why I get so scared over little things. But now I'm getting more into spirituality. I'm understanding why things happened in my past the way it did.
Yeah. So, speaking of past lives too, like I feel like I dream a lot about past life because it feels like me, but not really. Like, uh,
Mm-hmm.
when I get that sense too, but I also tend to astral travel a lot during my dreams too. So it's like I don't know if maybe I'm just like in another universe that's kind of me because I always believe that we have like multi-dimensional universes and we could actually be like aware or living in other dimension as well at the same time because I feel like time is just like one big concept and time is like literally infinite, like does that make sense? So sometimes I don't know whether it's like like you said, like a past life or maybe just like a different universe or dimension, like but like I said, speaking of past life, I do tend to dream a lot about past life situations, and it's crazy how things play out too because like you said, how you have a fear of balloons, I have a fear of the ocean. Like I
Really?
literally every time I go to the beach, I do not step foot in the water because of sharks. The sharks are the main reason why I'm afraid of the ocean, right? And normally I don't let fear like control me or get to me, but for whatever reason, every time I go to the beach, I'm like, nope, I'm not getting in the water. Like I'm not even getting like like this deep because no, I know that sharks can be in the shallow too. Like I'm not stupid,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Even stingrays.
Yeah, so I always think to myself, I was like, I wonder if that also has to do with like a past life kind of like situation, you know?
I think so, because any fear that you have in this lifetime can point back to your past life.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hi, everybody. Hi, Harmony,
Hi. Hi,
Scorpio,
honey.
Essence. Oh, I'm glad you guys joining. Also, guys, for those of you in the comments, I know we're barely getting started, but if you do have any questions for Miss Taleah, you can go ahead and put the questions in all caps, and we will answer it as we go along. We're really just talking about psychic abilities, tarot, etc., etc. So if you have any questions about that, like I said, feel free to post them below, and we'll answer it as best as we can. So going back to your childhood, you said you've started as an empath. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me more stories about that. Like, how did you realize you were an empath, or like, what were your first initial feelings going about that?
Well, as a child, I wasn't aware of the gift, but I can say like the job I used to work at, like my friend, she was spiritual, but then she closed her gifts off. But like for example, a customer came up, and the customer, like, I don't know how to explain this. Like I realized as an empath and what she was telling me when I felt this customer sneeze and then I sneezed at the same time she sneezed. If it makes any sense. That's how my gifts work. I don't know. I feel others people's pain. I can, like, even it happened a lot at work because I was surrounded by so many people. I can hear the person's thought before they say it, if it makes any sense.
Yeah.
I can, and like I began to feel other people's pains, and every time I would leave work, I would get angry, and I would have to carry this crystal called malachite. It's at the window, but to absorb the energies because it just became so heavy.
Yeah.
But also, this black tourmaline, I've owned like several, and every time that I would own them, they would crumble, and this one has broken.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
this one
Like
has
actual
broken.
crumble? That is crazy.
Yeah, because I would own the raw ones. In the house I moved that I used to live in like a few months ago, I buried it all around the house. But that's
Yeah.
the only stories I have because I don't remember my childhood like that. Like I
Yeah.
would have to go. I want to do this kind of like sleep regression thing. If that's what it's called, or
Me
hip,
too.
hypnosis.
Hypnotherapy, right? That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Mitchell that because he does hypnotherapy, and I was like, oh my god, I want to do that like so bad.
But I have a story to tell you because you're talking about different dimensions, and
Yeah.
I think you mentioned something in my life, but I want to like not like mean on my like present experiences.
Yeah.
So on my live one day, um, this was I think last year sometime, like when I was like being more consistent on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
I literally felt myself leave my body, and then I asked someone in the chat. I think I told you his name like on Instagram, but
Mm-hmm.
he told me your soul is over there talking to someone in the fifth dimension.
Oh my gosh, really? I just got the shivers.
Yes, and I'm like, what? That explains everything. Because sometimes, like when I sit, like even in my room, I get the chills, and it feels like my soul leaves and it snaps back. And it snaps back.
Yeah. Uh-huh. See,
It's
I
so
love
strange.
stories like that. The first time I remember astral projecting was a little after I started really getting into like my gifts. But it was through a dream, and through that dream, I remember because it felt like I was awake but asleep at the same time. Like it's so weird the feeling of it because you're aware, but at the same time you're still unconscious. Like, does that make sense? I
Mhm.
know you know like what I'm trying to say. So, also, I was on the ceiling of my room, and everything in my room was like the exact same as it is like in the earthly realm, in the spirit realm, you know, it's like the exact same thing. So that's how I knew. I was like, okay, something is different. Like I'm awake, but I'm not awake, you know? And as soon as I saw my grandpa's spirit like on the side of the bed, I was like, oh, that's what's happening. Like, you know, so like had to like get myself like in check for a second. And then I remember looking down at my bed and I saw like my actual body like just like asleep there. So I was just like, it's like the weirdest experience, but also the coolest experience. But doing it while you're awake, I've never done it while, at least I don't think I've done it while I'm awake. I
The
don't think.
thing is, I don't know when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's like my higher self or whatever you call it does it on its own time. Like I want
Oh,
to control
yeah.
it. Like, not during a reading when it's like, okay, I'm gonna go in the fifth dimension and just lollygag. Like no,
Like,
don't do that.
oh, we're
Come
busy.
back. Get it together.
But I love that somebody else caught it though. Like that, the fact that somebody else caught it, like in the comment section, is like, whoa, you know. I love that. So Essence has a question here. How can you find out what your fears you have brought from your past life?
That's an interesting question. Okay, so the way I saw my fears was when I was a child. And ever since, and as a child, it's always been consistent of me being scared of balloons, and that's that one thing.
Yeah.
So, and it's carried up until now. So I feel like I don't know how to explain this because that's a tough question.
For me, I think it's having the fear, but not understanding why you have it in the first place.
Yes.
Like, I think that's the best way to like kind of go about it, because like I said, I'm not one person to really let fear take control over me, or I try to take control over fear as best as I can. I've just always been that way. Like even growing up as a child, like I wasn't scared of many things. But like I said, every time I went to the beach, I would never step foot in the ocean because I was like, no, like I couldn't explain it. Even my parents were like, why don't you want to go in the ocean? Like all the other kids are like freaking playing in there. I'm just like, I would refuse, like, no. But it's something that I couldn't like. I also feel like it's something that you're kind of drawn to at the same time, but you also resist it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're drawn to it, but you resist it at the same time because you know, like, oh, there's something there that is a little bit off, you know? At least that's the best way I can explain it.
Yes. So if you have fears, well, Renee said it better than I could have explained it. Whatever it is that you have a fear of, just question yourself and ask why you're afraid of that.
Yeah.
That's the best way to explain it for me.
Especially if you don't remember a specific time or reasoning why you're afraid of it, you know, because normally when people have fears, it's because they've experienced something and something negative or just scary came out of that situation. That's where the fear builds up, you know. But if you can't remember like a reason or why you have that fear, that's probably brought on by the past life situation, you know, from my experience.
Maybe something triggers it too.
Yeah, something triggers it also, especially like, because like I said, I think I have blocked a lot of my past lives out for some reason into this life. And again, it's that, like you said, that triggering thing that kind of like in your spirit, you're just like, no, like, you know,
like, I'm not going over there.
I'm fine right here.
Touching that.
I'm fine right here. I know I got sand all over me, but I'd rather put up with that than go in the ocean and not know what the heck is around me. Like, you know?
Exactly.
But thank you for that question. That was a very good question.
It was a good question.
Yes. So going back to tarot, what is your, like, do you have a specific way you like to read for people, or you just do different things like each time? Do you have a specific system? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so with tarot, to be honest, I want to learn like with tarot, you can always learn something new with tarot.
Oh yeah.
But I think that I try to learn something new, but it's like when I shuffle the cards, they don't like, I don't say focus on the cards, I focus on what I'm feeling instead.
Yeah.
So I can pull a whole bunch of cards and just pick up what I'm feeling intuitively, especially from the energy.
Yeah.
But it's so strange to explain how I read.
A lot of times each time is different. It's just like you said, on the energy.
Yes, it depends on the energy. And sometimes when people would ask me a question, let's say, for example, someone is wanting to know about, let's say, a certain situation, they would let me focus elsewhere. They'll make me focus elsewhere instead of like pulling for that situation. They wouldn't answer it clearly. Like I can tell, like if when I pull cards and they ask about some certain person, I can tell like if it's like if I'm picking up messages or it's like they're making me go blank. I'm like, no, they're making me focus elsewhere. Then I'll pull advice for that person. Like, for example, yesterday, someone asked for a career. I'm like, no, I think you know the answer to that question already. Let's focus on spiritual.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to get that energies a lot too, where people ask me a question. I'm like, I know you already know the answer. Why are you asking me? Like, but that's just the
I
air.
say that all the time. I just don't want to come off mean to people. I'm like, you already know the answer. I think they're wanting you to know something else.
Yeah. A lot of time people are very shy when asking questions too, like, because I know I get a lot of my friends too, especially when I read like personal readings or like face to face. They're like, I don't even know what to ask. I'm like, I think you know what to ask, just don't be afraid to ask it. Like, just know with me, there's no judgment. You can literally ask anything. I know everything about mostly everybody that I work with, like, I was like, and I'm not one to like say your business or anything. Like, this is like a one-on-one type of thing. So I think it has to do a lot about like with that kind of situation too,
Yeah, that's true. I had something to say, but I forgot. See, it comes and goes.
Me too.
I think it was about I can't remember.
It'll come to you. Just watch.
It'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back. It always happen at the most random times. Be like, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
I think it was about the way. I think it was about the way I was reading. Okay, so
yeah, that's the question I initially
come back. I think it was about like now I remember. So if someone asks me a specific question, like the way they want it answered or the way that they want me to ask the cards, I tell them I have to rephrase it. Like let's say someone asks about, let's say, A and B. I can't ask about A and B. I have to ask A and then I have to separate and ask B. Because if not, I'll get so confused because they're gonna throw out 10 million cards.
Yeah. I agree. Sometimes I tell people too, like, okay, I'm going to rephrase it just a little bit so we can be more specific. Because sometimes the more specific you are, the more specific the answer you get is, So yeah, I completely agree with that. Where sometimes I tell people, okay, we're going to rephrase it just a little bit, like,
Just a little bit. Just have trust. Yeah, but the same thing with me. I don't judge. I just like I just don't want to come off. I feel like I remember how I told you something about me suppressing things I say because I don't want to come off so mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to work on that too because I don't want to come off so mean. People I tend to, not sugarcoat it. I tend to say it in a nicer way. Because I don't sugarcoat my readings, but it's like Spirit's like, you have to say it like this. But I'm like, okay.
I also think that's the empath in you too, though, because I get that a lot too. The empath in me generally lets me know who I can be like more like okay, like more stern with, and then I'll also let me know, okay, you need to be a little bit more sensitive with this person, like So I that's the empath in you because, like I said, I tend to get that way too sometimes.
So Manya asks a question.
Yeah. What's been the most rewarding and special experience you've had during your tarot journey? That is a good question. I like that.
Oh, I've had so many.
Yeah, I feel like
the most rewarding experience is people telling me how things play out.
Yeah.
And okay, so when I do readings for people, I don't like look for like I don't expect people to come back and tell me how things play out and how I've impacted their life, but I've had many people come back and say that I've helped them in so many ways. And then I'm just like, it just makes me feel good. I can help other people with the readings. And especially as being an empath. Oh, wait, I have a story. Okay, so there was this one person that came on my channel and I was done with readings and I was about to get off. But as an empath, you feel other people's energy, and sometimes when you feel that person's energy and it's so impactful, it's like that energy won't go away and you have to something to get rid of it. So I read for this woman, and I think it was in regards to her neighbor calling CPS because the woman was just so toxic, her neighbor. And I felt like my whole side going numb and I was shaking. And it turns out it was her energy because she was so stressed out. It turns out, I think that everything worked out for her in her favor, but that was an experience that I had that I always go back and reflect on it, but that was an experience I had that I will never forget in regards to my tarot journey on YouTube.
Oh, I love that. For me, I mean, rewarding. Oh my gosh, there I go mixing up my words again. Retrograde. For me, like I said too, yeah, I love it when people come back and tell me like, oh, everything worked out the way that exactly that you said. And For me, I love giving people peace of mind. I think that's ultimately why I read cards and do mediumship, like in the first place, is to give people peace of mind. So the fact that I can help someone gain peace of mind, I think for me is really like the experience that I like to gain, because I know people who deal with like anxiety and stress,
Mm-hmm.
even depression. So for me, if I can help someone like heal from that, or even just for, like I said, a moment or two gain peace of mind, then that for me is the part where I'm like, okay, I did my job. Like, you know, but
Yeah,
that is,
and with tarot, the thing is, I don't go into reading for someone like with an intention. I know I'm going to help that person, and I know I can do my best to give them the best clarity I can, but I don't look for anything to come of it.
yeah,
Like, I don't expect anything in return. So
right.
when people come to me, I'm like, oh, really?
I agree. I agree. I think it intention has a lot to do with it too. And I think people can sense it too, like, you know, your intention, what you're about. And I think that's what keeps people like so eager, one, to come back, and two, because like I said, when you give off that energy, people are more open to you also, you know, at least
Mhm.
that's been my experience too, for sure.
That's so true. That is so true.
That is a good question.
Thank
So
you, Manya.
what do you have like favorite tarot decks in your collection?
I knew you were going to ask this question. Okay, so I'm going to show you.
Tell me, please. I, like I said, I love seeing like people,
Okay,
what they're drawn to, you
I'm
know?
going to see if it's nearby. Hold
Okay.
on. If it's nearby.
I'm drinking my water, you guys, because I have a little pain right here. I think it's gas pain probably. So I'm trying to like flush out them.
This deck.
After tarot, oh my gosh, I have that one on my wish
But
list.
guess how many I have?
Wait, how many do you have?
I'm going to show you.
Show me.
This is the deck that came out of the new box, and this is one of my old decks. So I have two. I have a backup.
Nice. Yes, every time I have a favorite, I love getting backups. Well, one for me, but also I like to save decks for Elena too. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start my collection for her also. I love
Yes, I have a whole collection, and I knew you were going to ask about how many decks I have.
that.
So
Yes.
in total, I have 20 Oracle decks.
Okay.
When it came to tarot last night, I'm like, I give up. So I could say I
I
have like
love that answer.
so right now, like the decks I use in my channel, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Then do you store them like in a specific way, or do you have like a storage system you use? Because I also love seeing like people's the way they store their decks, because I just store mine in my drawers here because I have very limited space.
I kind of store them in my drawer, like in a bag like this.
In a bag.
Or the ones I use the most, I took my mom's thing and I took her stuff out of it, and I used something like this.
Nice.
So right now I have about 15 decks on my desk that I use in my channel, but in my drawer it's full. And I
Yeah.
have some Lenormand, and I forgot the name of this deck. I have some Gypsy decks. I have what is that deck called? See, I don't know the deck. I don't know the name of it because I just ordered them.
I know. After a while, the names just kind of go gibberish, right?
Yeah, it's the one with the fish on it. Those decks.
Fish.
The with the scythe and with the coffin.
You mean like woman?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And then I have fortune telling cards as well.
Uh-huh. Oh, I love that. So then the After Tarot deck, that one's your favorite one right now?
Yes, but I don't use it as much. So the deck that I use now, I found that I always go back to the Everyday Witch Tarot.
Ooh, and I also have that one on my wish list.
I love that deck. And the Mermaid Tarot, I love the Light Seers. I love the Star Tarot that I have here because it connects with well. The Mystic Mondays, I use it for certain readings. If I feel called to use it.
Yeah.
But this Legacy of the Divine Tarot deck is one of my favorites as well. I'm going to show you the box, okay?
Yes.
It's here somewhere.
Oh, most of the ones that you said too are my favorite too. Like the Mermaid Tarot, I'm obsessed with. Obviously, that's the one I've been working with. Light Seers is my soul deck because as soon as I got that deck, I was just like, this is my forever deck. Like it's always going to be in my collection. I'm going to need a backup of this one too. And I'm going to get one for Elena also because it's like it's my deck.
I have one to show you by by the same author. You'll love her deck. It's the Muse Tarot.
Oh yes, I think I used to have that one in my wish list, and I think I was about to purchase it, and then for whatever reason I didn't. So I'm gonna need to re-add that one for sure.
I don't use this deck. I don't use it.
Not that often.
Not that often, but sometimes I feel called to use it. But it's completely different from the Light Seers deck. But I love her artwork.
Yeah, speaking of Kristen, I've actually had a couple of conversations with her, like through Instagram.
Really?
She is the sweetest. Like, you would think, because a lot of deck creators, especially ones who are very popular like her, like she is, you wouldn't think that they would respond to your questions or respond to, just respond in general. And I think I'd asked her a question or something like that, not knowing I would actually get a response, and she responded to me. I was like, oh my gosh. And like from there we kind of had like a mini conversation, and then I think again I spoke to her like probably like a couple weeks later. It's been a while since I spoke to her, but yeah, she is the sweetest person, and I just am so like grateful that she even responded to me in the first place. I forget what I asked her. I think it had to do something about the deck. Is what I asked her. And but yeah, she's lovely, wonderful. If you don't follow her, go follow her.
I'll go follow her because I know she came out with another Oracle deck as well.
Yeah.
My favorite artist, like the artwork, is Lo Scarabeo. I hope I said that correct.
Yes, I love Lo Scarabeo. Also, right? I also don't know how to pronounce it either. Lo Scarabeo, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I love their cardstock. I love the cardstock.
I have a lot of decks.
So easy. It's also not too thin, not too thick. It's like just perfect.
Especially the Golden Art Novel.
Yes, I love
that deck.
It's right on my desk because I've been using it the last couple of days.
I love his deck. And then I have the Golden Art Universe. I think it's another one of his. I think it's the way he creates his decks is what like draws, like keeps my attention, because some decks I get bored of it easily.
Yeah, me too. Look, I also have the Haunted House, the one that you gifted me for my birthday.
I have to buy that one. That is such a lovely deck.
Yes, and also too, the size of this one is honestly perfect for me because it's also by Lo Scarabeo, right, as well. But I think this one, the card, yeah, look, it's actually the same size. It's thinner. Yeah, I knew it was thinner because I was like, no, this has to be thinner. So as you can see, it's just like a little bit smaller. So for me, this cardstock is perfect because I have tiny hands. I have like long fingers, but for the most part, I have tiny hands, so it's so easy to shuffle.
Yeah, with decks like that, yeah, this is an easily shuffled deck, and I really and truly love his work. And this, I feel like you would love this deck too, the Star Tarot.
I have that one too. Elizabeth gave it to me for Christmas, I think.
I love it for spiritual readings. It's amazing. Yeah.
The colors in it are pretty. Hi, Kitty. Long time no see. How you been? So what's your favorite Oracle deck at the moment? I love using Oracle all the time, especially for the free readings.
Do you really want to know how much I have on my desk right now?
Yes, show us.
Okay, so I have the Everyday Witch Oracle, which is amazing. Okay, let me put this right here. I have the High Priestess of Light. I don't have a favorite one. I just use whatever.
Yeah.
I have the Work Your Light Oracle deck.
I have that one too, but I can't find it. Where which?
The Star Seed Oracle deck, which is made by the same person, and another amazing deck by the artist Rebecca Campbell. I have Moonology, and then I have Wisdom of the Oracle, which I use a lot.
Nice. I think my favorite Oracle deck is the Energy Oracle because I swear I use that all the time, and it is perfect to just give too. Yes, that's my favorite.
The thing is, I don't know how to read it. Like I know how to read the card obviously, but I don't know the meaning. Like if I were to pull the card for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a little tricky at first, but since I've worked with it so much, for me, it's just like it's so easy. And obviously, Mark's decks also are my other two favorite because I use those all the time.
You know what, Renee? I put both of his decks, the red and blue one, in
Uh-huh.
this couch last night after speaking to you on his live, and then I put it next to my pillow. You're like, oh, it's gonna give you a dream. So I put it there. I'm like, this dream was a bit weird. So I threw it away from my pillow. I'm like, no, get away from me. But I
We both
put
warned.
it inside this pouch.
It's because we're always laughing and stuff because you know, people are always like, oh, you need to sleep with your decks, and that's how you get to know them, right? Well, Mark and I, we don't do that. Like, I don't sleep with my decks. At least I don't feel the need to. Like, not like right now. It's cool if everybody else does it. Obviously, like everybody does their own thing. But like him and I, like we always crack jokes because we don't sleep with our decks. And he's always like, Renee, did you sleep with my deck? And I'm like, nope, I don't want to sleep with your deck. I don't want it anywhere near my bed. I need to start cracking up.
I actually sleep with my decks. Well, especially, well, not all of them. Like, especially the Star Tarot, I slept with it because I felt like I would connect with a lot. Especially like series, but certain ones I will sleep with, but certain ones I don't.
So when you do sleep with them, do you get like odd dreams or different dreams, or like what do you tend to dream about? Like, tell me, because like I said, I generally don't sleep with mine. So I want to know like what's the whole like what happens.
I wrote the dream down in my dream journal, but it was about, I think, hold on. Remember in that reading you did for me, and it was on your TikTok, and you said something about a past life, and you said the person that's in my energy kept reoccurring in it.
Right. Uh-huh.
That's one of those dreams I had.
Okay.
I think that I slept with the deck too. I remember when I told you yesterday in my life when I dreamt of getting like when I when I dreamt of getting shot 3 times in my chest, and it felt like I knew my soul would leave my body and I would know I would go to a next life. That was one.
Wow.
And I've had several prophetic dreams as well. But the thing is, I don't remember them. But thanks to Renee's work she's done for me, she's done the psychic enhancement candle, and the other one is called the money candle.
Yeah, money/job/business, whatever works.
That candle. Since she's done since she's done the psychic enhancement, I've been able to get more in tune with my gifts, and the dreams been coming back. But like, I forgot the dreams though because I wrote them down.
That's good that you write them down though. Sometimes
one more. Remember my grandmother that you connected her, that you connect with her in your life?
Right.
She's visited me in a dream before with a deck. So.
Ooh. Then maybe I should sleep with a deck under my pillow.
Especially but get the one that you feel the most connected to.
The most connected to then probably the light seers. You know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it, Taleah. I'm gonna try it tonight, and I'll let you know.
Yes, do it. It'll help. I feel like the connection with the deck will become stronger. But sleep with it for like at least 2 nights.
2 nights. Okay. 2 nights. Got it. Kitty, if I slept with all my decks, I'd be a tarot hoax.
Kitty, we were just talking about how many decks I have. I think I have a lot. 20 oracles.
Her answer was, I don't. What'd you say? I lost count, or I gave up?
No, I gave up. I'm like, I pulled my drawer out. I'm gonna show you a picture of my drawer, like when we get off. Okay. But I looked at it, I'm like, oh no. Put that back.
Put that back. I give up. So then you also do you do mediumship as well every now and then, right?
The thing is, I know I have the ability to do it, but I get so excited.
Me too. Okay, hold on real quick before we continue about that. Essence asked, did your grandmother also read tarot?
Oh, that's a good question. So I have stories to tell you about that. So my grandmother did not read tarot, but she has always told my mother that I have a twin sister. She's always told my mother that your twins would make an impact on the world one day. They're very special and they will take care of you. So I think that she was very spiritual. My aunt, which is her daughter, also used to see like, I want to say dead people like come to her window and shake the bars on the house, like because it was in the house Bahamas and it has bars in the windows, and she would see like random spirits come up to the window and just start making noise, and my mom would just get so freaked out. And mind you, like not too far down the street and down from the house is a cemetery and a church.
Ooh, even more so. Dang, we got double, not only a cemetery, but a church.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, also my grandmother, the thing is, like, when certain people pass in my family, this goes back to my childhood. I think I remember telling you my Aunt Renee, that guided me to you. I never mourned her death because I knew, for some reason, as a child, I knew that she was still with us.
Yeah.
While everyone was like mourning around, like, there's something wrong with me. I'm not even crying, but I knew that she'd always visit me in my dreams. If I asked her to come in my dreams, she would always be there. My grandmother did not read tarot. I think she was just very spiritual and very wise.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could say that my, family reads tarot, but sadly I'm the only one. I'm the first generation. Both, at least from what I know, I'm the first generation to read tarot and to like practice any type of psychic work. I know my mom has like prophetic dreams also, but she's too religious to even like go further than that. Like dreams are okay, but anything past that is like a no-no, So, so like I said, at least from what I know, anyways, I think I'm first generation on both sides of my family. Have you ever gone ghost hunting, Taleah? Oh, I love that question.
Do you want to know my honest answer?
Yeah.
Hell no. No. Hell no. As a child, well, now I'm not scared as much as I was in the past. But in the past, if I knew, like, the thing is, I was always aware of like the other side in some form or another, but I was always scared of it. I always had that fear because it's the unknown, and I think it's just my human self thinking and allowing my fears to get in the way. But no, but I would love to, but not in like. I would love to do my own form of ghost hunting when spirits come to me and give a message to someone else.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, not that I've ever gone ghost hunting because pretty much, I'm not going to say everywhere I go, but a lot of the places I go, I always end up feeling something anyhow. So it's like my whole life is ghost hunting, like, but, I do have a friend who wants me to go to her house because last time I went to her house, I felt a couple of spirits that were around, and she's like, "Oh my God," she's like, "It's funny that you say that because they used to have a lady who would go and help clean their house, and she literally quit because of the spirit activity that was like in the house, because she got so scared that she left." And I was just like, okay. And I was like, yeah. I was like, there was one spirit that did kind of freak me out a little bit, and I told her where it was. And then I was like, but there's also other spirits that I think that are there protecting you from it, like, so she wants me to go do more like a house hunting type of thing, and she's gonna let me record it too. It's just that we haven't had like the time to do it. Like in the last month, we had so much going on this last month that I haven't had time to go and do it. But hopefully if not this Sunday, hopefully soon, I will be doing that. And like I said, I'll definitely be recording it. And Levi's actually going to go with me because you know how Levi also is very good with, the whole spiritual thing too. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be something new and something different,
I would love to hear about it. And the way I see ghosts now, like, or spirits, they're only around for a reason. It's like either they're stuck in that place or it's like they have a message to give or something like that. But I definitely want to connect with them more. But it's just that anxious feeling of like when you go into meditation and it's like, oh my gosh, I want to see something.
Yeah.
I have to get past that.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. But so going back, Katie was asking, are you scared with spiritual practices, cards, channeling, or mediumship?
No.
Not anymore.
I think I was telling Renee this. When you hear something that's not there, of course it's going to startle you. Yeah. But I think I'm to the point now. It's like I'm comfortable with my spirituality that I know there's another side. But it's like, okay, so one of my moderators on my channel told me this. Think of spirits as if it was a human. You have the ability to talk to them. You have the ability to tell them to get out. You have the ability to choose which spirit you want to communicate with, which spirit you don't want to communicate with. It's like, for example, if someone's in your energy is low vibrational, human I'm talking about, you have the ability to cut them off.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time too. Yeah, it's about the authority that you give off too. That's why I also think that, well, for me, spirits don't really mess with me because they know, like, I think they can sense the authority, that I have at this point. Because, like I said, growing up, I mean, I've always had the sense that, I could do like just channeling, mediumship, and everything like that. And now that I have practiced and got more in tune with it, I have the ability that if I see a spirit that I don't want to deal with, I'm like, get out. I'm like, you're not welcome. Like, even during mediumship readings too. For example, like when Mark and I would do like readings together, and we would already have a line of people or like a list of people like waiting to get a message. Sometimes uh, like there would be a spirit that would come in before the other person. So it's kind of like, how when people try to like skip the line,
Mm-hmm.
spirits do that too. And I would have to tell them like, no, it's not your turn. Like you have to wait your turn, right? So like spirits do the same thing. So I think the authority, the more that you practice it and the more that you realize that we are like, we have more, how do I say it? Yeah, just we have more authority over them, and they know that. But they mess with the people who don't know that,
And fear, right?
yeah, and fear. They sense the fear, and that's what they really like get attracted to. And that's why you have all these like scary stories or like hauntings. And I'm like, no, it's because the person didn't know how to handle it correctly. Like,
Do I see it's like the spirits are like little like 2-year-olds who like to have fun, just mess with you because they know you're scared of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have a story. I think I told her. I think I told you about this story.
Hmm.
I think that when spirit tries to get my attention, they leave bruises all over my legs.
Oh,
I used to get scared of it because my grandmother used to call it death mark. Like when when you see a mark on your body, it equates to like someone passing. But I realized it's spirit trying to get my attention.
yeah.
Or they would just try to talk to me in my like I can hear them.
Hmm.
Or they would jump on my bed and have a party. I'm like, no, not today. Get out.
You're like, excuse me, I'm trying to sleep. Like, no.
Exactly. Or they'd wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and then I wouldn't go back to bed until 6 o'clock. The same thing that happened the night before last. I'm like, no, you have to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Kitty, I'm a scaredy cat. As I search for a ghost door or hut. Yeah, like I said, it's about the practice. It's the Aries sun in you. Yeah, I know, right, Manya? Definitely the Aries sun in me that I'm like, nope, not today.
Oh, also, I have to tell you guys, do you know how long Renee has been trying to get me to come on her channel? A long time. I'm like,
At least a couple of months at this point, right?
yeah.
Since my birthday, I think, right? At least, or a little bit before my birthday, maybe. So it's been more than a couple of months. Because it's June,
Before I moved, back in March.
right? But yeah, before my birthday.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. No,
Wow.
she finally said yes. No,
Yeah,
we
I
finally
finally
got the right time.
Mhm. Because I would always make up. Well, I was moving, of course, but then it's like this is my first collaboration,
Mhm.
and I'm being on someone else's channel, and I was just nervous about it. And I'm like, no, okay, just get over it.
Yeah. It can be a little nerve-wracking the first couple of times.
Hmm.
But then you just
But
get
it's not so bad. Time is going by so fast.
I
See,
know, we
40
only
minutes
have,
in,
like, a little over 10 minutes.
right?
So then future endeavors, like, would you ever go, like, ghost hunting?
Yes,
Mhm.
I would.
Even if, like, say, like, the stories are, like, where the ghosts, like, how sometimes they say the ghosts, like, hurt people or, like, they try to, like, kill people even. Like, have you ever heard stories like that where the ghosts will, like, try to, like, throw someone off a cliff or something?
Yeah, that's why I don't watch The Conjuring.
Yeah, those are the stories though where I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna stay away from that because that doesn't sound like a ghost. That sounds a little bit more demonic. Like if any,
Hmm.
and the demonic realm is what I don't mess with.
No, I
Uh,
don't. I wouldn't go near that.
yeah, there's a difference between the demonic spirits and the ghost spirits, right? Like, have you ever watched that show? What's it called? Ghost Adventures. I think it's what it's called.
Yes, when I was younger, but the thing is, when I was younger, I would get so scared and then I wouldn't go to sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was watching them ever since like they first started, I would say. So it's been like a long time since I've watched them because I know they've been on for like ever. As of like, I had stopped watching them for a little bit too, but as of recent, I noticed that they did a whole like museum thing. I don't know what, right? And now you can go visit their place or whatever. And the moment that I saw that show, like literally 10 minutes in, I was like, those aren't ghosts. Those are demons. Like they're doing it on purpose to get the attention, you know? Like that's like the type of spirits that came across from me. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, those aren't ghosts, like literally. So I don't know why it's called Ghost Adventures, it's called Demon Adventures, because that's not ghosts. Like I'm sorry, but no.
The kind of adventure you're going on is something I would do, but not like the ghost adventures or like the
Yeah.
demonic things. No.
I think there's also a way to handle it too. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of people like to, like the way they do it specifically, I don't do it that way. I do it a completely different way because they like to provoke the spirits and that's how they get them to like either say something, but that's what gets them angry. Like, you know,
Mhm.
even the good spirits, like, hello, good spirits can get mad too. Like, just like humans, like good humans can get mad too when provoked. So when you provoke them the wrong way, obviously stuff's going to happen. Like, you know?
Mhm. They're gonna give you something.
Yes, exactly.
That's what people don't understand. They don't look at like spirits or anything as humans.
Yeah. Mhm. So
Oh,
that's
also,
the only thing that I'd be like, what happened?
I forgot to tell you one thing about my gift. You talking about like spirits reminded me something.
Yeah.
I think I was reading for someone, and I think it was her. It was her husband that committed suicide or something. I
Mhm.
don't know, but I felt his energy. I felt his spirit. Like I think it's called clairsentience when you
Mhm.
can feel like the energy of someone. I felt that he was at peace. So like it wasn't like an
Cool.
empathic feeling. It was like a feeling of a spirit.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's a different type of energy from the spirit and then the empath, because
Hmm.
empath, I think, is when you connect to another human, but when it's a spirit, it's a whole like other type of feeling. Oh, Elena was playing with him.
Do you have a go-to tarot spread? No, me and tarot spreads don't go.
Me too.
No, no, like it's like me and tarot spreads do not go. If it says something goes there, like say past, present, future, I
Mhm.
wouldn't read it as that.
Yeah.
I read
Mhm.
it the way that I pick up intuitively. It's
Intuitive.
like I cannot put a card in a spot and interpret it that way. It's like putting a square inside a triangle. It doesn't fit. It's like that
I
kind of thing.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I try to do spreads, but only depending on the question. Like for example, if they tell me like, "Oh, what are so and so's intentions towards me?" Right? So then the first card, I'll be like, "Okay, what are their intentions, good or bad?" And they'll tell me good or bad, and then I'll try to get what is the situation, you know, because sometimes there's a different situation that you're not seeing as to why their intentions are that way. And then I'll be like, "Okay, what is the overall advice with this connection?" And I'll be like, "Okay, what would be the final outcome out of it?" You know, so that's kind of a spread. I don't really say it's a spread. I just say like different cards that I have different meanings towards, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's
But
the same thing I do.
yeah,
But like as far as googling a spread and using it, no.
yeah. I tried doing spreads for a little while, but yeah, me too. For after a little bit, I don't want to say it gets boring, but it just gets repetitive a lot of the time.
Hmm. It
I
does.
think.
Like I tried to learn the Celtic cross spread, even though it's so simple. I'm like, it just seems so hard than it should be. I'm like, I just gave
Yeah,
up.
yeah, exactly. What is Manya said? Me as a spirit picks up an apple and chunks it up first. Oh my, yeah, I don't know how I would be like as a spirit, but then again, as many past lives as I had, I think I just come back. Like,
Right? Me too. I always wanted to know like what goes on up there. Like how would I be up there? How does it look?
right?
That's one thing I'm curious about too. I'm like, what would happen like when if I'm up there? What like I really want to know like you know how they say like you do this soul contract and
Hmm.
everything before you come down. I want to know how that works
Me too.
because I want to know what I signed up for.
Me too, because I've heard stories to where like there was a friend that I used to have, and she would tell me, she's like, I remember picking my mom and dad like before like like coming to life or being born. She's like, I remember specifically picking my mom and dad. So I'm like, I wonder if we can pick who our parents are, because according to her, that's what she did. So I was just like, interesting concept.
Wow.
But I mean, I like the family that I've become into, even though they aggravate me sometimes. But I think that's everybody.
Yeah, me too. I'm grateful for my family, but it's like I want to know how I chose this.
Yeah,
I
I know,
chose
right?
but that goes back to a dream or a vision I had because I usually have them in my sleep because my mind is like a hamster on a wheel when I wake up.
Yeah.
Um, but I had this vision, as you would call it, of souls.
Hmm.
It was just a bunch of light, like a bunch of it was people, but it was a bunch. It's like you and I, let's say, for example, as a white light
Yeah.
up
Mhm.
there.
That's how I see it
It's
too.
like, yeah, and I'm like, this means something. I think you know what I think I do. I think that in the spiritual realm, I think that I help spirits cross over or help spirits in some kind of way because I think that in my dreams I always have repetitive messages about that.
Yeah. Which makes sense why you're doing it now, like in your waking life.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, with me, I do so much in the spirit world that sometimes I forget, like when I wake up. But I do remember something specifically too. Like I know a lot of times I focus on protection a lot. So like I said, I cast out negative energy or I cast out demonic energy, anything trying to like attack us. I know I do that a lot, which is probably the reason why I wake up tired a lot. Because like how they say like, oh, if you wake up tired, it's because in your dreams you're very active. And I think honestly think that's what I do a lot. That's why I'm not a morning person.
Me neither. I'm not a morning person. The latest I'd wake up it's like 10 or 11. But
Yeah.
like I am not a morning person at all. It's
Yeah.
like how people say like when you're hangry, it's like you get angry. Like don't talk to me in the morning.
Yeah.
It's the worst time.
But I think like I've noticed that a lot though with spiritual people though, like because like I said, I think we're very active throughout the night, even through our dreams. Like even when we don't realize it, even when we don't know it, even when we think it's just a dream. I think it's actually our spirit being active. And like I said, that for the most part, that's why I wake up still super tired. And Levi is always like, you need like 12 hours of sleep. I'm like, because half the time I'm probably not even sleeping. Like
That's true. Your body is sleeping, but you're not actually in your body. Your body is somewhere else. I
you're
mean,
not
your
resting.
soul.
There you go. You may be sleeping, but you're not resting. I think that's the more accurate term.
Yeah, there you go.
So before we head out, do you have any other stories you would like to share
Mm,
about anything? Any of the topics we spoke on today?
there are a lot of stories, but
Do you have any
um,
do you have any like really scary stories that you remember?
no, because spirits never used to mess. Like, for example, in my aunt's house, where all the spirits would mess with, like, let's say the cousins, the family friends. No, they never used to mess with me. A spirit actually. Oh, I have a story now. Okay. You see, this is how my mind goes. This is why, like, when I read for people, I have to say a thought before it leaves. But
Yeah. Oh,
in
I
my
remember.
aunt's house, the spirits would actually attack, let's say, a family friend and start choking them.
Mhm.
Or like there would be a spirit like walking through the house, but they would never do anything to me.
Yeah.
But in my dreams, I've been attacked before. I felt like I think this was when I was awakening, when I was going through one of my awakenings. And
Mhm.
I literally had to. It's like I felt pinned down, but it wasn't. I don't think it was in a bad way. I think it was like spirit trying to test me or something. I don't know, but
Mhm.
somehow they left, and it happened multiple times.
I felt that way too. There was this one time where I forgot where we went. I think we went to San Antonio or something, and we were in a hotel. And ugh, I hate hotels because there's always spirit activity. Like I swear, like no matter what hotel I go to, there's always something like happening for whatever reason. I don't know what it is about hotels, but um, like I said, there was this one hotel that I went, and the whole night kept having spirits come to me in my dreams, telling me how they died, telling me their life story. Like I swear, when I woke up, I remember three specific spirits. I remember their names, what they look like, what happened to them, and I even have a story time, I think, on my channel too. it's probably from like a year ago, I think. I think it's called My Most Recent Ghost Experience or something like that, where I remember, like I said, their names, who they were, and it was just a crazy like night, right? Well, in that, before that happened, I came across this one spirit in the hallway, and I felt it kind of like follow me and kind of like attach itself to me. But I didn't feel like it was anything bad. But in the middle of the night, I remember waking up and I was screaming like, "Mom, mom, mom." And my mom was like right next to me, right? And she was just like, "What?" Like I was awake, but I didn't feel like it was me speaking. I felt like it was the spirit like speaking through me, you know? And she kept screaming "mom" like over and over again. And it was like uncontrollably like how I was like doing it. Like I couldn't stop myself. The only thing that stopped me was my mom, because my mom kind of like shook me, and she was like, "Did you have a bad dream?" I was just like, "Yeah." Like, because like I said, I don't talk to my mom about that stuff because she doesn't
Mhm.
like knowing about that stuff. So I kind of just like went back to sleep. Well, get this, about a week or 2 weeks later, that same spirit was still around because the same thing happened to me. I woke up, I was screaming, "Mom, mom, mom." And while I was screaming, "Mom, mom, mom," I saw two spirits like above me, and they were men. There was two men like above me, and they were both like choking me or like trying to kill me or something, right?
Wow.
And when I woke up, like it was the scariest feeling because I literally thought I was gonna die, because I was like, "Oh my god, like what's happening?" Like I was just like kind of like flustered, you know, like I didn't know what to do. So finally, I woke up from it, and I swear I felt like I couldn't breathe when I woke up because, like I said, I specifically saw two men above me, like hovering over me, and it looked like they were like trying to choke me or like trying to like I said, trying to kill me or something. And I just woke up and I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" But it's crazy how that spirit like kind of followed me from there, like to the hotel, which was in San Antonio, to my home, like, you know? So I kind of had to like detach myself from it. But at the same time, I think there was like some sort of like, again, past life significance to that also. Because why else would that spirit feel so like attached to me, you know?
Mhm.
I never really read into it after much after that, because I kind of, like I said, I felt like I pretty much knew what it was about, but it was just like the feeling was so weird.
How did you detach yourself from that spirit?
I cleanse a lot, as much as I can.
Mhm.
I not only cleanse, but I speak to them and I tell them like, "Look, like I don't like I can't help you. Like I can do my best to help you like gain peace, but that's all I can do. I don't know what else you're trying to get from me, because like I said, I just felt like it was attaching itself to me. So I just told it, I'm like, I try to help it find peace as best as I could, but there's really not much you can do when you don't know what it's trying to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's
like
true.
I said, I did my best. I prayed for the spirit. I prayed for to help it find peace. That was it. And I just cleansed myself from it. That's it. Because sometimes, like I said, you really don't know what the heck to do.
Yeah, that's true, and that's one of my fears too. Like, well, that I'm trying to release about spirit, like because when you open your mediumship abilities, you become like an open door for other spirits as well.
Yes, that's the thing too. And that's where you have to discern, like, okay, do I need to do something or do I not do something? And I think that was one of those situations where I was like, I don't think I can do anything. I just can pray for it, help it like find its peace, and like that's it, you know? Sometimes that's all it takes, really, because sometimes they just want someone to find empathy for, or to find someone who will like understand like what happens to them or what they're going through, you know? And I
Hmm.
think that's why like the spirit showed me what happened to her, so I can gain like that sympathy for her and like be like, okay, well, I'll pray that everything's good now. Just know that you're at peace, you're fine, you're safe from these people, and it's okay for you to move on. And then after that, like I said, I never got dreams anymore. So I'm pretty sure she found peace.
That's good. You helped me in some kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's been an hour, girl. Can you believe that? It went by
I was
so
looking at the time clock because something kept flashing over here.
Oh,
Like,
really?
if you kept seeing me look around, like getting distracted, it's because something kept flashing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the time has went by so fast.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you finally coming on. And maybe we definitely have to do a collaboration where we actually read, like do the readings together.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because like I said, for the first collabs, I really like to just get to know someone like a little bit better, a little bit deeper, even though I know we talk like on the side, but still like that way audience can get to know you too and be more comfortable. So yeah, we definitely have to plan a collaboration where we do readings together.
Oh, thank you, Manya.
Yeah, thank you. I love that.
I'm so happy I finally came on your channel.
Me too. And if you guys aren't subscribed to her, make sure you guys go subscribe to her right now. I do have the link to her channel in the description box below. And if I don't, I will make sure I put it, but I'm pretty positive I put it when I set the stream up.
Thank you.
Are you gonna do a live today or not today?
I have one scheduled, but in an hour I would see how I feel because I don't know. I woke up feeling like drained but energetic, but it's like I don't know what's going on in the universe. But yesterday I was so tired, but now I feel like energetic, but I don't know what's going on.
I'm the same way. When I woke up too, I was so tired and I was just like, but Elena also kept waking up a lot through the night. So that also got me really tired. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to stay up and get my energy going. And that's how I'm going to work. But yes, like I said, we will definitely plan something for future endeavors. And I'm always on her channel also. At least I try to be. I'm a moderator on her channel. So you'll see me in the chat every so often. Blame
on her channel too.
Manya, blame macaroni Gatorade. I love that.
Macaroni Gatorade. I'm gonna call it right. I'm gonna keep calling it that because this is the first time I feel the intensity of this retrograde ever. I'm like, what's going on? This is not normal.
I normally try to tend to do my best to not think of retrograde and like the effects, but this time around I literally felt everything. But also I think it's because it's in Gemini and I'm a Gemini moon, so it's really like testing my emotions, you know.
I test my emotions, and literally every time before I go live, I sage my computer.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. Because the technology the last couple of days, you guys, oh my gosh, I can't even. I told you, right, that during one live, it still said I was live and people were still commenting on my live, but my computer was completely shut off.
That's not normal. Normally when the computer shuts off, the live ends, and then it keeps buffering for a while, then it eventually, wow.
And not only that, but I tried going back on my live and I couldn't end it because I already hit the end button.
Oh my goodness, Mercury retrograde needs to end already.
And then last night, my TV turned off all by itself. And Levi was like, oh, probably because it's been on for a while. But I was like, no. I was like, I think it hasn't been on that long. But it literally just shut off all by itself. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go to sleep now. Like,
it's either spirit or something going on in the cosmos.
Yes, seriously. All right, Miss Taleah, well, I'll go ahead and let you go. I'll stop blabbering on.
No, don't worry. You're not blabbering.
I'll let you go. Do what you need to do. Rest. And again, thank you so much for coming on. I had so much fun. And like I said, guys, we will definitely do this again in the future. All right.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
My pleasure, girl. I'll talk to you later for sure. Mm-hmm. All right. Bye, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. And please stay safe. I will also be on later on tonight, too, both TikTok and YouTube. So watch out for that. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.